Hi, and again, welcome to week 7 class meeting for module 154. Okay, so we started chapter 21 yesterday, right? Y'all noticed that there was no exam this week? There's no exam on chapters 19 or 20. Your next exam will be on chapter 21, and that's going to be on Monday. Right? I'm pretty sure it's on Monday. Let me double check that. Yes, on Monday. And then you guys have a final exam on day 40 of 40, which again is February the 7th. Yeah, a final exam that's gonna have a little bit from all 40 days, a little bit from everything. Our new students, you do not have to take the final exam. Since this is your entrance module, if you started the program inside of this module, you are exempt from the exam. Do not even worry about it. I'm gonna try not to even open it to y'all, so y'all won't have access to it if I can do that. So y'all don't worry about the final exam. Not something you'll have to worry about for this module. But you will have to take the chapter 21 exam on Monday. So remember that. Those of you who have to take the final exam, I know y'all will do great. Y'all are gonna do fine. So from here until the end of the module, we're gonna be covering chapters 21 through 23. That's where we're gonna end this one at. Okay. And then on February the 8th, we're gonna start in module 155. Which I think we're gonna be doing coding for a little bit longer, but not too much. We're almost done. I know module 156 and 157 are our EHR system modules, which they're so much better than coding. The older students can attest to y'all. Once we get through the thick of coding, it's really not that bad. It gets a lot better. It gets a lot better. And then in 157, that's when we really start getting into the meat and potatoes of an EHR system, electronic health record system, or EMR, electronic medical record system, that all your doctor's offices and hospitals use. Y'all will get to practice on that for about 6 weeks. So when you get out of this program, you'll be able to say, yes, I have worked on those systems. I do have experience with that. And you'll have that to be able to put that on your resume. So that's going to be a lot of fun once we're done with coding. So we're almost done. Y'all just stick it out a little bit longer. But let's talk a little bit about chapter 21. The exam is going to be very similar to what y'all have been doing, as far as how the test is set up, some multiple choice, and then some coding. Again, for those of you who have not been through ICD-10, don't worry about the ICD-10 codes that are on there. And I think there's even one question on this exam that doesn't ask you for a CPT, it just asks you for the ICD-10, the diagnosis code. So if you want to take a stab at it, go for it. If not, don't worry about it. Just, put new student, no ICD-10, whatever you need to put there, just put that there, okay? But it shouldn't be anything y'all can't handle. Y'all have been doing really, really good on the exams. I've been really impressed. Mostly A's. A B or a C here and there, but like 90% of you are flying or acing these exams. So I'm really happy with where y'all are at. Y'all should be proud. Y'all should be very proud. But okay, so chapter 21. Talk a little bit about that, and then we're gonna do some practical practice from one of the exercises y'all were assigned, I think yesterday, maybe today.
So
I think yesterday.
the last test that we took,
Chapter 19.
I took it, but like I did it, and then Cameron started freaking out, and so I went to see about him, and I completely forgot
That's okay.
that I was taking the test, and then when I realized it, I submitted it, and then because I was like, oh crap, and I submitted it, and then I missed one or two, And I was like,
But you probably
what
got
the
the bonus
hell?
question.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, what? But I didn't review it. So I
Do you
was
want to
like,
retake it?
okay, huh?
Do you want to retake it?
I mean, it's not necessary because I
Didn't you
got
make
an
an
A.
A anyway?
I want, I like my
I
perfect.
know.
And I was like, this kid is going to be the death of me.
It's gonna be all right.
I'm with you, Claire. I was seeing about a colicky baby and submitted it, never looked back. And I was like, what did I just do?
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
you
Dang,
made
kid.
Claire, you made a 48 out of 50,
I
96%.
know, but
Now that is
Ooh,
I feel
a
like if I would have
96A.
looked at that
That's the
question,
lowest
I would
test
have been
score
like,
Claire's ever gotten.
that's because Claire likes to
Miss
double
B,
triple
I
check.
think we're gonna blame the kids this time.
Yeah, you can always blame the kids.
I
Yeah, I
will.
was nursing and
That is
he ended
always
up throwing up,
acceptable.
and I was like, yeah,
No, that is your lowest test score. So if you want
ma'am.
to retake it, you can, but you did make a 96A. But all of her other exams, y'all, it's either 100% or 110%.
I'm gonna have to look at my average and see if I feel like it's all right.
You still
Well,
overall in your class
Claire, you're fine.
have 102% A. So you still not
Still
lacking.
above.
Instead of 102% A, you'll have 102.5% A.
I have to check mine and see. I know I'm probably behind due to assignments, but
It's gonna be all right. Well, just shoot me a text, look at your grades, and shoot me a text if you want to retake it, and I'll reopen it for you. But usually, if y'all make an A, I don't even reopen it. I just let you go on with your A. And then you have people like Claire who want a perfect score, which is fine. I say go for it.
you can reopen mine.
Okay,
Please.
let me make a note.
We can reopen mine.
That came right. All right, I will do it.
I don't think I made a
This is my first
yeah.
bad grade.
All right, Jamie. I will do it. All right, so a little bit about chapter 21, y'all. Just some things I want y'all to go in and look at as far as this chapter, things that are the reproductive and delivery, maternity section is one that I really like. I like babies. Who doesn't like babies? But the subsection on multiple births, twins and triplets, and so on and so forth, that is really interesting to me, and it's some really specific coding. So if y'all get a chance or the envie and you just want to check that out, it's really interesting and good to know the coding in that section, the way they break it down. And then you have the codes that represent, these births with the loss of a child, or sometimes when you're coding maternity, there's codes for previous deliveries and things like that. If they had a previous loss, a stillbirth, miscarriages, anything like that, those are code specific. So look out for those things. I always find it really interesting because I have a crazy maternity history. As most of y'all know, I have one kid. Technically, I have 3 kids. I have a set of twins too. They just they're in heaven with their grandparents at this point. And so I had high risk on top of high risk on top of high risk pregnancies, due to age and diabetes and multiple gestation and things like that. So, and then what they call a crappiest name for something ever, a cervical incompetence. crappy name, I know. But so I had what's called a cervical cerclage, which is where they go in. It's this awesome little procedure where they go in and they literally sew your cervix closed so that it can't open prematurely and your babies be born prematurely, like mine were. My twins unfortunately were born just shy of 24 weeks gestation. We were right in the middle of the second trimester. So that sucked. That sucked. But it's probably a lot of the reason why I find the maternity, and especially the multiple births and multiple gestations, that kind of stuff, so interesting. But especially if you go to work for an OBGYN or anything like that, any type of maternal fetal specialist, or anything, you're going to deal with codes that relate to pregnancy and delivery and gestation and all that fun stuff. Let's see. It's not too much that I need to really lecture on as far as procedures, other than to just tell y'all to pay attention to what trimester. That's very, very important in anything you code dealing with maternity. Trimester, you got to know what trimester they're in. And that any scenarios y'all work on or chapter exercises, if it requires that, it should tell y'all which trimester it's in. So that's something to definitely pay attention to. Let's see. All right, that's pretty much it. Just pay attention to your trimester.
Can I ask a question about that section?
Ma'am?
Can I ask a question about that section?
Yes.
Okay, so in the code book, it's got 59400, and I'm assuming that's, how do they go by, baby A, baby B? Like, why is it a different code for baby B? Is it because the first baby, they may have had to, cut them, and the second baby they didn't?
It has to do with their position.
Okay.
When they have baby A is going to be the first one that exits the body.
Okay.
Closer down than baby B. Baby B is always, A is always your first, what they consider the first one, and B the second one. Now, sometimes depending on the birth and delivery and different things, baby B will end up coming out first. But when they, as far as from a coding standpoint, that's how they determine which baby is A and which is B. And when you're
coding, and so the code is different, even though if they were both delivered, no matter if it's triplets, each one's going to have a different code, even if they were both delivered cesarean or vaginal or anything. It's going to be a different code.
Right. I want to say there's a little box, a guide box. I'll have to look in the CPT.
Yeah, I was looking at
I don't have any of this memorized by any means.
Okay. I was confused on that.
Yeah. There's a little key in the guidelines or at the beginning of that section where you have to, give me a second, I'm gonna look at it because I don't want to tell you wrong. Let's see. What was the code, Courtney? 58?
I think it was 59400. I mean, you can text me later. I don't want to hold up the class. It was just
no, because I mean, this is the point of these meetings. This is the whole point.
And then, Courtney, believe it or not, you're probably helping all of us because we probably had similar questions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I had it written down. I got so many notes.
Let me look at your text. Was it one of the ones you texted me about?
It may have been. Let me look. No, I don't know. 58925.
Number 58925. The correct answer was 58662.
No, that was something else.
That's something different.
Yeah. 59510 59. Hold on.
Okay.
I had it written down. I don't know what I did with it because it was like a key was like baby A was this and then baby B was this, but then if baby A was the cesarean or VBAC, then it changes, and I'm like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. And it gets confusing when you have multiples. Crap. The coding with can get confusing if you have a single baby. But especially with multiples, it gets even more complicated because then you're coding for essentially multiple pregnancies at the same time. Let's see.
59409. So can you just refresh okay, so 59400 is
59400.
yes, and then 59409 is well, it has the modifier. Why do we add that again? The 51?
The 51 notates, it's not is it bilateral? Hold on, let me look at my modifiers. I think 50 is bilateral and 51, is it other services? Claire, do you know that off the top of your head? 51, multiple procedures.
What modifier?
51,
51.
multiple procedures, yeah. That's when
So
multiple
so
procedures.
this 59409. Okay. Okay. So the vaginal, I guess I'm getting too much into it because if they have a vaginal birth with a episiotomy for the baby A, you don't have to code the episiotomy with baby B because it's already done with baby A. The episiotomy is when they cut, right? I mean, like, so something. I mean, I'm just. I guess I'm just.
The codes for the delivery, like I'm looking at 59400
Uh-huh.
and 59409, the one right under it.
Uh-huh.
And the difference between those, like 59400, routine obstetric care, including antepartum care, vaginal delivery with or without a episiotomy and or forceps, and postpartum care. So there's a lot of, that's a very general code. That's not just a delivery code.
Okay.
In 59409, vaginal delivery only, with or without a episiotomy and or forceps. So 59409 is talking about just the delivery only.
Vaginal.
And
Okay.
59400 is including beforehand obstetric care and then postpartum care after the fact.
Okay. So basically, we have to learn all this stuff, but whenever we get placed in a job, we have a job, none of this is going to be important to us unless we're working in a cardiologist or a neurologist or whatever specialty. We need to know how to code it, but as far as
The specifics,
the specifics,
yeah.
only if you're working
The
in that.
specialty specifics, no,
Uh-huh.
they may never be relevant to you, unfortunately.
Okay.
But it's good practice and it's good
Uh-huh.
general knowledge. It's good general
Okay.
knowledge. Because there are things that'll pop up, like say you go to work for a general practitioner,
General practice, yeah.
a general practice, you're gonna see a little bit of everything. Like you're gonna see the beginnings of a little bit of everything, and then your doctor's gonna refer people out to specialists. So it doesn't hurt you at all to know a little bit about, be familiar with the pregnancy stuff, or be
Mhm.
familiar with digestive system stuff or neurological stuff, because your doctor may very well see the beginnings of all kinds of different conditions that relate to all the different specialties. But yeah, and then if you ever get to the point where you're hired on and you work for somewhere that's really specialized, like I worked for a neuropsychologist.
Mhm.
That's some crazy stuff. And the section of the manual that I would deal with if I had to code that stuff, let me put it to you this way. The coding for that is so specialized, the doctor did it herself. She
Really.
didn't let anybody else touch it. She did the coding. I double checked it and billed it. And then,
And if you code something wrong, they kick it back.
yeah, they'll send it
Okay.
back to you if they catch it.
Okay.
And most nine times out of 10, they're gonna catch it. if you code something
Okay.
incorrect. Either it'll be inconsistent with the patient's previous charts or something like that. Or the codes that you use won't go together or something to that effect. They have software that scans it and matches things up, and then they'll kick it back to you if it's incorrect 9 times out of 10. Yep. Okay, so, but yeah, your maternity codes can get kind of confusing. So just make sure that y'all are reading the full description on the codes when you're looking in the tabular and picking them out.
Thank you.
Very important. Oh, no problem. That's, like I said, that's what we're here for. I would prefer us do things like this and talk about stuff that y'all are having trouble with than lecture for a certain amount of time, regurgitating information at y'all that may not ever apply to you.
Okay. And Miss, since we're talking about this, what if one child came out vaginally and the other one was a C-section? Like, could they do that? Wouldn't the codes be
That
like
would
they
be,
have to be for two
I think that would
different?
count as multiple procedures.
Okay, that's what I was trying to see. Like, would they still, document it as
You
what
would
would they have
probably,
to
like, I would
document?
have to read the guidelines, but more than likely, it would make the most sense to me to report both procedures with a 51 modifier. You would
Okay,
do the
because it was
vaginal birth
multiple.
and then the cesarean birth, and you'd put a 51 modifier on
Just
whichever
okay.
one you primary, I think. Huh, Claire? Or do you put the 51 on both of them?
I'm lost. What we're done?
When you're doing multiple procedures and you use
Mhm.
modifier 51, do you use it on just the first listed, the primary, or do you put the modifier on both of them? On both
I think
procedures?
I think it depends on like what your company does, because like for us, we only put it on the primary, like whatever our primary is,
Mhm.
and then go off of that.
Okay, so it does make a difference, like what the company does, like which
Yeah.
modifier they'll use.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
See, it makes it more
certain
difficult because why not just
doctors,
be the same?
you would
Yeah.
think so. You would think so, and you would hope so, but not always. Some doctors are really specific on how they want you to code things. Some aren't. It just depends on the doctor, really, and the company, like Claire said.
It's like I have a doctor, like one of our doctors. I work for an ortho clinic, and so one of our doctors in particular, she will tell you like what she wants you to use for the diagnosis and which modifiers she wants to, like she has the exact way of how she wants it to be built.
Right.
Our other doctors are like, these are my diagnosis, do what you will. Like figure it out, make me some money.
And the majority of them are like that, especially younger doctors. A lot of your older doctors are a lot more sticklery.
Yeah.
Like stuck in their ways. And what's really funny, there's still doctors out there, y'all, that almost the only way that you can file claims now, like you can still send them paper, but a lot of places, a lot of insurance companies frown on it. Like they do not want you sending them paper. They want you to do it electronically. And there have been a lot of doctors over the past couple of years that have retired because they just refuse to keep the electronic records and bill electronically and deal with the software because it's expensive. Software we bill with is very expensive. I mean, like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. It's ridiculous. For the software, and they just don't want to at this stage of life, they don't want to make that investment or that change, so they're retiring. Hey, if you can afford to do that, then good for you, I say. But the rest of us still have to work in the medical industry and do what we do. But yeah, some of the doctors are really, really particular on how they want you to bill and code. And I know, like, for an example, my back surgeon, the surgery that he did on my back is fairly new. It's new enough that he teaches it at LSU right now. It's being taught to orthopedic surgeons at LSU. Funny enough, it's my video of my surgery that they're learning off of, which I thought was kind of cool. But this surgery is always denied by the insurance company. I have Blue Cross. They denied my claim. It's a $50,000 surgery. And I pay a hefty sum for insurance premiums every month. So my doctor and his team are so adept at coding this stuff correctly and knowing what they're talking about and doing the appeals for this surgery. Like, it's not often. I've been in medical billing and coding for almost a decade, and you don't see many claims go to the maximum appeal level that they can go to. They can go to 3 different levels, guys. Once your insurance company denies your claim, you can appeal it. And then you can have a 2nd level appeal. And then you can have a 3rd level appeal, which is going to go to an outside company. Okay. A neutral 3rd party mediator, essentially. That's going to decide between the doctor, the provider and the patient and the insurance company. They're going to take into consideration, they're going to look at all the claims. They're going to look at all the documentation. They're going to look at medical journals to see why Blue Cross is saying that this procedure was experimental and therefore not coverable, not payable. And they denied it. We went all the way to the 3rd level, to the outside party. And because my doctor and his team are so meticulous, they approved it. They made Blue Cross pay my claim. They had to. They didn't have a choice. They were voted against, and we won. So that's awesome. And not that common either. But once you work in that kind of setting, you'll get that good at that coding. Once you start seeing the same codes all the time, you'll know exactly what you need to put, especially if you're working in something like that, that's experimental surgeries, major surgeries, and things like that. You will have somebody train you on how that doctor and how that office does their coding or how they want it done. It'll be explained in detail to you. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Any other questions? About anything about the coding or how it is in the doctor's office? Chapter 21 exam, anything? No? Okay. Well, I've got a couple of practical practice problems from chapter 21 that I wanted to go over with you guys and work through just for a little bit of practice. Let's see. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can. I can.
Okay. All right, so this is from chapter exercise 21-2 on page 581 in your textbook. We're just going to go through 3. Let's see. I think y'all were supposed to do these yesterday for yesterday's assignment, if I remember correctly. I got too many books in front of me, y'all. I got 3 books right here stacked on top of each other. Okay, so 21-2. Laparoscopic, number 1, laparoscopic salpingectomy for tubal ectopic pregnancy. Where do y'all think we're going to start with that?
Laparoscopic?
We're looking for procedure, so I would start with laparoscopy, or you could start with this crazy word, salpingectomy.
Salpingectomy.
Yeah, salpingectomy. Anytime you see a word that ends with like opie or omi or ectomy, stuff like that, that's almost a clear indicator that it's some type of procedure, and you can start with that word. Let's see, so salpingectomy for tubal ectopic pregnancy. That's more of a condition than a procedure, the ectopic pregnancy. So I would start with salpingectomy or laparoscopy. All right, so let me know what y'all find if y'all get there before me. I'm gonna start with salpingectomy.
Got 59151.
59151. I think that sounds correct from, I remember going over the answers. Let's see, where did you find that? Do you recall what page you found that on in the index?
And the index is 1223. And it's ectopic pregnancy and laparoscopic.
All right, so page 1223 in the alphabetic index has salpingectomy, and it looks like I spelt it wrong. And then it gives me, it indents down to some other complete or partial. Laparoscopic is under that. And then for ectopic pregnancy actually has its own little subheading in there. And then laparoscopic indented down under ectopic pregnancy. So given what we're looking at, that's almost a clear indicator, you know. A laparoscopic salpingectomy for an ectopic pregnancy. So that's 59151 is the code that it brings us to. So then we need to go back in our tabular and just double check it and make sure there's no guidelines that we should be following. And look, if y'all look on page 450 at the beginning of the maternity care and delivery, there's like a whole column of guidelines, like a whole column. And that's where you're going to get all your differentiations in those codes that for the multiple pregnancies and stuff like that. A lot of your clarification is going to come from that guideline section. But looking at code 59151, it's under laparoscopic treatment of ectopic pregnancy, salpingectomy, or oophorectomy. So yeah, that's pretty cut and dry. 59151. That one's pretty clear. Very good, very good. Any questions on that and how we got there? No? All right, let's go on to number 2. Version of breech presentation successfully converted to cephalic presentation with normal spontaneous delivery. And they're looking for 2 CPT codes here. Version of breech presentation successfully converted. Okay, so they turned the baby around, apparently. I think that's what successfully converted to cephalic presentation, to a different presentation, and then a normal spontaneous delivery. So I would think that we would need 1 code for the delivery and then 1 code for the breech conversion, I guess. So let's see. Y'all let me know what y'all get. Where do y'all think we're gonna start? What do y'all want to start with? Anybody?
Well, I first thought it was cephalic presentation, but that's not it. So I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to look up to see if there was anything
Delivery.
under breech, because I don't know very much about that. So I was trying
I
to
looked
see
at
maybe,
breach earlier when I was doing the assignment, and
I'm not really seeing it.
there's not a breach section, so
Mm-mm.
I thought maybe delivery, and maybe it'll be under delivery.
No, nothing under breach. Hmm. Maybe conversion or
So,
conversion.
so under delivery, there's cesarean delivery and vaginal delivery, and so I would say maybe vaginal delivery.
What code is that? I'll tell you, I can tell you
Um,
if it's right or not.
well, I haven't gotten to there yet, but vaginal
Okay.
delivery, it says, 59, well, no, that's not it, let's see. 59409, it just says delivery only. So,
Okay.
so Saphatic version is 59412.
Okay. Let's see where that takes us. That's what I have underlined in my directions. Successfully converted to cephalic presentation. So that's what I was going through the C's. Let's see, cephalic version of fetus, anesthesia, external. So yeah, I guess that would be that. That would be it. It's definitely not gonna be the anesthesia code. So yeah, 59412 is where we'd want to look in our tabular. External cephalic version with or without tocolysis. And then you see under 59412, there's a little caption, a little parentheses. Use 59412 in addition to codes for delivery. So that means this code is going to be used in addition to a delivery code of some sort. It's not going to be used by itself.
So 59409 and then 59412.
Yes, sir. That is correct. 59409 and 59412 are your two codes there. No modifiers needed, nothing else. That's it. Good job. Very good job. All right, so let's go on to number 3 and wrap it up for today, y'all. 30-year-old woman, 20 weeks gestation with cervical cerclage by vaginal approach. All right, so what's our procedure going to be on this one?
Cervical cerclage.
That is
Yeah.
correct. Cervical cerclage, which you can just look up cerclage because there's several different ones. And I say several, there's like 4 or 5, something like that. You can look up cerclage, and then the first one, the first indentation down, it's cervix. And then under cervix, we have abdominal, removal under anesthesia, and vaginal. Okay. So ours, 20 weeks, vaginal approach. So under cerclage, we're going to look at cervix, vaginal, 59320 is what they're giving us. So we want to look in our tabular. All right. On page 451, we've got code 59320, cerclage of cervix during pregnancy, vaginal. And then I'm looking at the codes, it's in the repair section. Under maternity care and delivery is the section, and then repair is the subsection. And it's a real short section. There's only 4 codes there. And none of the other ones fit anywhere close to what we're doing. So it's going to be code 59320. Any questions? Anything? You're good? All right. All right, well, if y'all don't have any questions for me, that's pretty much all I got for you guys today. Let me double check that I got everybody written down in case we had anybody pop in late. Hey, Latasha, I'm glad you can make it.
Hey.
Jackie, Jericho, Asha, Claire, Karen, Nisha, Jamie, Courtney, Kimberly. Okay, I got all y'all down. All right, so again, I am going to be off tomorrow, so available via text in an emergency situation only, please. If it's not an emergency situation, hit me up Saturday morning. I'm sure I'll be on doing some stuff and I can go over whatever. Jerica and Courtney. Courtney, I will look at the questions you text me about here in a little bit. It's like 4:20. I'm gonna have to leave in a few minutes to go get my kid, but I will try to look at your stuff first. And then Jerica, tonight I will get your stuff reopened for you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's no rush. You don't have to do it today if you don't have time. It's fine.
Girl, no, it's my job. I'm gonna make time. You asked me about this like first thing this morning. So no, we're gonna take care of it today and get your questions answered. That's no problem. Like I said, I'm gonna have to work late tonight anyway to have my day off tomorrow. So it's no problem. It's no problem. I will text you in a bit. All right. So guys, have a blessed weekend. And again, as always, thank you so much for your time and spending it with me. I appreciate it so much. And reach out if y'all need anything, okay?